part 2. So now I would like to shift gears, kind of focus on this character Ptolemy the Fourth. All right. Let's just go into the Wikipedia. This is Ptolemy the Fourth, Philopator. All right. Ptolemaios Philopator. Okay. It says his reign 221-204 BC, the Ptolemaic dynasty. Okay, it says Pharaoh of the Ptolemaic kingdom. Okay. This was the son of Ptolemy II, Salakia III. All right. It says Ptolemy the Fourth was the son of Ptolemy III and Bernice II. His succession to the throne was accompanied by a wide-ranging purge of the Ptolemaic royal family, which left control of the realm's government largely in the hands of his courtiers, Eusebius and Agathocles. His reign was marked by the Fourth Syrian War, 219 to 217 BC, with the Seleucid Empire. Okay, so there you have it. During that time, he was warring with the Seleucids. Okay, which through that Seleucid line, all right, Seleucus being one of the generals of Alexander, okay, that came into power after his reign. All right, through that line, you had Antiochus Epiphanes, okay, which is recorded elsewhere in the book of Maccabees. All right, it says which culminated in a decisive Ptolemaic victory at the Battle of Raphia, one of the largest battles in the whole Hellenistic age. Okay. It says, in the final years of his rule, control over the southern portion of the country was lost to the rebel pharaoh Hergronopher. Okay. Ptolemy IV died in mysterious circumstances in 204 BC and was succeeded by his young son, Ptolemy V Epiphanes, under the regency of Eusebius and Agathocles. All right. It says, in ancient sources, Ptolemy IV is criticized for being more interested in luxury and court ceremony than government, politics, and foreign relations. The decline of the Ptolemaic dynasty is usually traced to his reign. Okay, well, from there, we will go to, this is the third book of Maccabees, okay? Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, because, more than likely, you're not going to find this within the Apocrypha. Okay, 3rd and 4th Maccabees, which I myself didn't know about a 3rd and 4th Maccabees, but I've, by chance, I happened to be looking into some history, kind of looking into, just doing some research, and came across, various brothers going into the 3rd book of Maccabees, okay? And, this is history, man, all right? And word of mouth, okay, through brothers is that, the Apostle Tahar mentioned going into 3rd and 4th Maccabees and the Josephus, because it's good history and it can help you better understand, prophecy in the book of Daniel, okay? So I'm going to start at the 2nd chapter. It says the prayer of the high priest Simon. Okay, and then when you understand, this high priest Simon was talking about Simon Maccabees. All right, which is the brother of Judas Maccabees. Okay, and why I decided to bring this out. Well, because when you understand what's going on right now, all right, as far as what this man Esau Edom is doing with all these policies, okay, and different tactics and measures and different strategies, is all to come up against the children of Israel, all right, in specific the elect, okay, As the scriptures tell you, man, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay. The whole concept of the NWO, of a new world order, is not new. Okay. The concept of a new world order is not new to Esau Edom. All right. Okay. And you know, in history, all right, it's been tried. Okay, it's been tried before, and what, it's failed. Okay, and it's getting ready to fail again. Okay. But I'm gonna start at verse 25, and it says hostile measures against the Jews. Okay. When he arrived in Egypt, talking about Ptolemy, he increased in his deeds of malice, abetted by the previously mentioned drinking companions and comrades, who were strangers to everything just. All right. And you know, it says they were strangers to everything just, right? So that's spot on when you're dealing with Esau Edom, because the scriptures tell you that his spirit which is lifted up is not upright in him. All right, roughly paraphrased. And what else? All right. Unless there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau Edom, which were one morsel of meat sold his birthright, something along the lines of that. All right. But continuing, it says he increased in his deeds of malice, abetted by the previously mentioned drinking companions and comrades who were strangers to everything just. He was not content with his uncounted licentious deeds, but he also continued with such audacity that he framed evil reports in the various localities, the various places, okay? And many of his friends, intently observing the king's purpose, themselves also followed his will. All right. It says, verse 27, he proposed to inflict public disgrace upon the Jewish community, which that's talking about the nation of Israel, man. All right. The Jewish community, in which you go into the Koine Greek. All right. The word there is ethnos again. All right. Which is pertaining to the nation of Israel. All right. And the proof is in the next verse. Okay. The word there is ideos, all right, in the Greek, meaning the Jews. Okay, but when you read going back to verse 25, what it says, they were strangers to everything just, okay? And how it says his friends, observing the king's purpose, themselves also followed his will. When you go back to First Maccabees, it talks about how that when Alexander's 4 generals were on the earth, evils multiplied in the earth. Okay, First Maccabees 1-9. All right, and here in Third Maccabees, Simon was saying that they were about everything unjust. Okay, they weren't about anything righteous. All right. Okay, they were wicked, man. Okay. It says, verse 25, 26, he was not content with his uncounted licentious deeds, but he also continued with such audacity that he framed evil reports in the various localities, and many of his friends, intently observing the king's purpose, themselves also followed his will. So he was not content with his uncounted licentious deeds. Okay, licentious meaning wicked deeds. All right, mainly sexual, because as we'll get, all right, when these different rulers were in power, okay, during the Greek Empire, all right, they made it license to sin, okay, and that's written all throughout the book of Maccabees, okay, and this Ptolemy wasn't satisfied with how wicked our people were being, okay, but what even continued with such audacity that he framed evil reports in the various localities, and many of his friends, intently observing the king's purpose, themselves also followed his will. So they were being wicked, man. They were doing evil to our people. All right. 27. He proposed to inflict public disgrace upon the Jewish community, and he set up a stone on the tower in the courtyard with this inscription: "None of those who do not sacrifice shall enter their sanctuaries, and all Jews shall be subjected to a registration involving poll tax to the status of slaves." And check this out. Those who object to this are to be taken by force and put to death. Okay? And that's what Esau, Edom is getting ready to impose upon the earth again. Okay? Which, when you read up verse 29, it says, "Those who are registered also are to be branded on their bodies by fire with the ivy leaf symbol of Dionysus, and they shall be also be reduced to their former limited status." Okay, so that once you take that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, okay, and it's a brand, okay, it's a brand, all right. You're registering yourself over with Satan, man. All right. And what it says, those who object to this are to be taken by force and put to death. And where do the scriptures talk about Salakia? This is Revelation 20:4. "And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they reigned, and they lived and reigned with Mashiach 8,000 years." All right. So that same policy that Ptolemy implemented, all right, is going to be implemented here in America, okay, and as well as the world, man. All right. And those Salakia, let's go back. It says verse 29, "Those who are registered are also to be branded on their bodies by fire with the ivy leaf symbol of Dionysus." Okay, a firebrand. All right. And now when you deal with Dionysus, okay, this is Collins Dictionary definition for Dionysus. It says Dionysus, all right, the Greek god of wine, fruitfulness, and vegetation, worshipped in orgiastic rites. And when you deal with orgiastic rites, okay, you have orgies, okay, all right, which goes into them wicked sexual acts, man. All right. He was also known as the bestower of ecstasy and god of the drama, and identified with Bacchus. All right, now keep that in mind. Okay. Let's see. Because he's also known as Bacchus. All right. And I'm Bacchus is gonna come up later as we get into Antiochus, okay, Epiphanes, all right. But this is and I'm reading off screen again, Salak. It says Dionysus is a Greek god, son of Zeus and Semele. His worship entered Greece from Thrace 1000 BC. Originally a god of the fertility of nature, associated with wild and ecstatic religious rites. In later traditions, he is a god of wine who loosens inhibitions and inspires creativity in music and poetry, also called Bacchus. Okay? So it says associated with wild and ecstatic religious rites, meaning what? Okay? Basically, if you worship this god, you could do as thou wilt, basically. All right? And we just read how, you know, Dionysus was also associated or, worshipped in orgiastic rites. Okay? So, what defines ecstatic? All right? Feeling or expressing overwhelming happiness or joyful excitement. Okay? And now when you deal with this mark of the beast, man, all right, which will serve as like the token or admission ticket into the NWO, all right, which is going to be set up as this figment of a new heaven, a pseudo kingdom of heaven, all right, which you're gonna, which is what basically do as thou wilt. Okay, do whatever you want. You could be a homo, you could be a pedophile, tranny, all right. You could worship Satan, whatever you want, as long as you have that mark. Okay, and that's in essence what Ptolemaius set up during his reign. Okay. So where it says those who were registered also had to be branded on their bodies by fire with the ivy leaf symbol of Dionysus, meaning what? That if you were to be a part of that system at that time, okay, you being branded showed that what? You worship that image, okay? And now in this current time, what serves as that brand, okay, is the RFID chip, all right? And you've always had branding for slaves, okay? When you deal with the Old Testament and the law, it there's laws on how to deal with slaves. It's lucky I'm not gonna get it, but roughly paraphrase, if a slave were to stay in subservient to his master, okay, then what? They would bring his ear to the doorpost and bore it through with an awl, okay? Which is, basically branding, okay? And you have somewhat of the same concept with this RFID chip in which, okay, that boring instrument, all right, is used to place this brand underneath the dermis, man, the skin, all right? But let's go back. Verse 29, it says, those who are registered are to be branded on their bodies by fire with the ivy leaf symbol of Dionysus, and they shall be reduced to their former limited status. Okay? Let's read that again. It says, and they shall be reduced to their former limited status. So, hey, it's not going to be all fun and games for those that take that chip, man. All right? Because you can clearly see, all right, from examples in the past, how Esau gets down, man. And the scriptures tell you that a gift destroyeth the heart. All right, so Esau is going to give that gift and make it seem like everything is pleasant. All right, make it seem like everything is cool, but what? He's ultimately going to reduce your status to what? All right, slave. All right, in order, verse 30 says, in order that he might not appear to be an enemy to all, he inscribed below, but if any of them prefer to join those who have been initiated into the mysteries, they shall have equal citizenship with the Alexandrians. Okay? And that just goes to show you how crafty and deceptive this devil is, man. Because when you read up, all right, it says, and they shall be reduced to their former limited status. But what? In order that he might not appear to be an enemy to all, he inscribed below. But if any of them prefer to join those who have been initiated into the mysteries, they shall have equal citizenship with the Alexandrians. All right. So um, you know, those that wanted to be a part of that registration of Ptolemaius, all right, they would have to get branded by the ivy leaf, and they wouldn't be enemies of the system, okay, and they wouldn't be threatened by the authorities, all right. But if any of them preferred to join those who have been initiated into the mysteries, they shall have equal citizenship with the Alexandrians, all right. And you had Israelites that were calling themselves Greeks, all right, and had these certain perks, opportunities that others wouldn't have if they weren't a part of that system, or part of that image at that time. And it just goes to show how many of our people sold out, man. And uh it's going to be the same case, once this RFID chip is implemented. Okay. Um, Verse 31 says, "Now some, however, with an obvious abhorrence to the price to be exacted for maintaining the religion of their city, readily gave themselves up, since they expected to enhance their reputation by their future association with the king." All right. Sell out Israelites, man. All right. But in a future association in this modern day, is a status with the NWO. You being able to buy and sell. Okay. You being able to operate within this new system being set in place. All right, by the wicked elite. All right. Verse 32, "But the majority acted firmly with a courageous spirit and did not depart from their religion. And by paying money in exchange for light, they confidently attempted to save themselves from the registration." All right. They remained resolutely hopeful in obtaining help, and they abhorred those that separated themselves from them, considering them to be enemies of the Jewish nation and depriving them of common fellowship and mutual help. And that separation right there is getting ready to make a comeback, man. Okay, because you're gonna have those that willingly give themselves up, okay, that willingly offer themselves up to get that RFID chip, and those that come up against it. All right, but the scriptures tell you that the elect are gonna trust in the Lord, man, and the Lord hath reserved his 7,000 men, which have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. All right. And,